Health for women. That's our topic for today. I want to believe, Doc, you are here now. So
Yes,
with
I'm here.
yeah,
Evening.
with some emojis, I'd just like us to give a warm welcome to Dr. Betty Agala. Doc, the floor is yours.
Yay. I'm not seeing the emojis. Where are they? Where are
Okay,
they?
we're gonna give the emojis now.
Okay, let me be
Emojis,
sending
please,
one
emojis,
emoji.
please,
Oh.
emojis, please. Emojis.
Yay.
We're getting used to using Zoom. The emojis. You know, with Google Meet, the emojis just keep coming up, just keep coming up. So beautiful.
Yes,
All right, so the floor is yours. Thank you
yes.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Nisi. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I see Dopsy. I see Coach Daniela. I see Evergreen and all the beautiful ladies here. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yeah, we
Can
can.
you hear? Okay, Joe.
We can hear you,
Okay,
ma.
Joe.
Thank you, ma.
All right. So tonight we are going to be talking about women's health and also confirm that you can see my screen. Can
Positive.
anyone?
Yes,
Okay.
ma. Sing.
Okay, you can see my screen, right? Uh, All right. So let me start by saying that I have just handed over as the national coordinator of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. So I am immediate past national coordinator going forward. And I'm really excited to be speaking with us this evening on a topic that is quite interesting, healthcare for women. Healthcare for women. And the Girls Clinic, I believe, is a platform where we nurture, we care for ourselves, we mentor, lead, and produce women that are formidable, women leaders, women that can hold their sides at any given time. So the Africa Women Mentoring and Inspiring Initiative is one organization that I align with. So why does women's health matter? Women's health matters so much because we know that women, first of all, we're about 50% of the population. So it's like saying that 50% of the world population really matters. And secondly, women are made in such a way that we are the bearers, the carers, and the rarers in the society. So we take care of everyone else. Therefore, it's important that we are healthy. And a healthy mind, a healthy body means a healthy family because any woman, once you know something, you know that this is the right food to eat, you will ensure that your family gets the best of that food. Once you know anything, this is how to take care of my family, you would do it because women take responsibility, whether it's their place of work, whether it's at home, and women's health is the cornerstone for our community health and well-being. So women's health matter. Healthy women produce healthy families, and of course, the nation is made up of families and communities. So investing in health, in the health of women drives development. It drives prosperity. And that's why we are talking about this. Now, there are so many aspects of women's health, but I'll just take us straight up to this chart. This chart looks at the woman through her life cycle from infancy to adolescence to the reproductive age to uh post-reproductive age So you can see the lifetime health problems of women from childhood through the life of a woman. And so when we talk about women's health, it's talking about how we take care of the girl child from this point down to this point. So it's end to end, it's a cycle. And as we look at this diagram, you can see the challenges that women go through. Some of us from the get-go are discriminated against. A father says, oh, he doesn't have a boy child, so they select, and what they call infanticides and all that happens because of our culture and our tradition. Okay? Some very young children and through the ages face female genital cutting or female genital mutilation. There's a lot of discrimination when it comes to feeding, schooling, all of that the girl child faces. We also go through adolescence and you can see gender-based violence, you can see early childbearing, some child marriages, abortions, unsafe abortions, of course, because as a country, we have not accepted and legalized abortion. So any abortion you have is actually unsafe because most times it's done illegally. STIs, HIV, AIDS, undernutrition, where the girl child is deprioritized and the boy is given the more proteinous food because it's the one that will perpetuate the name of the family. You get into reproductive age and you look at unplanned pregnancies and all of these, gynecological problems, cancers, osteoarthritis. In all of this, hypertension, diabetes, all the other things that affect both male and females, you can still place them in any of these boxes. So when we look at the life of a woman from infancy down to the elderly and the post-reproductive years, you find that it is really critical that women intentionally take care of themselves, that we prioritize our health so that we can indeed nurture the next generation. You'll be shocked how many women and girls are malnourished. So simply just eating right is one of the things that we ought to do as women, as we look to be intentional in taking care of our health, because nutrition plays a major role in an individual's overall health, whether it's physical, psychological, there's something about what you eat is associated with so many risk factors and even affects your ability to reproduce or the kind of child, let me say, that you produce, and the health of that child can be affected adversely if a woman is malnourished and lacks basic nutrition. So having said all of this, it's important that women at different stages of life begin to intentionally do certain things to keep themselves healthy. Of course, for most illnesses, there are modifiable and non-modifiable factors. That you're a woman, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't do anything about the family you're born in. So if you have a family history of an illness, then there's not much you can do about it. You can't do anything about your genetics, So, but there are things you can do something about. And those things are the things we will talk about. Simple things to start on time and early enough. We have a lot of young people that there was a season that everybody wanted to be slim like Agbani. I don't know how many of us here know about the Agbani Derego and how every young girl wanted to be slim, you know, and then all of the body shaming and all those issues that come up. But adequate weight is really important. It's important that as a young girl, as an adolescent, you maintain an adequate weight so that you're not too big and you're not too small. So checking your weight regularly is really important because overweight is associated with a number of illnesses, while even underweight from malnutrition and maybe other underlying diseases is also a problem. So being overweight can predispose you to a number of health conditions, the hypertension, the diabetes, some of the cancers, and all of that, amongst other risks. Checking your blood pressure. You know, years ago, we would say when you're 40, you begin to check your blood pressure. But today, we have so many young people that have come down with hypertension, that have come down with kidney diseases. People are having stroke, very young people in their 30s, in their 20s. So it's important that you are checking your blood pressure regularly. It's simple, it's cheap, it's quite easy to perform very quickly. You can do that. And that's something that you can do at home, or you walk to the nearest health facility or pharmacy or somewhere, and do that. Cholesterol, we didn't used to bother so much, but if you're 20 and above, is one of the numbers you need to know, at least as infrequently as once in 5 years, for your cholesterol profile. So what we're saying basically is in your 20s, you can actually do a baseline of your indices and your status, your numbers at that time. So that later, if there are issues, if there's anything, you'll be able to know that there has been an increase or a decrease in a particular statistic. Now, young women, breast self-examination is so important. I don't know how many of us know how to examine our breast by ourselves, but once you've started menstruating, once you're an adolescent, you're 15, 16, 18, 20, 30, 40, 50 and above, you should ensure that you get a breast examination. The commonest one we do is a breast self-examination. And after you do that, if you find anything or you're not sure of anything, you can go to the health facility for a clinical breast examination. And then after that, of course, you can do a breast scan, a mammo, depending on your age. Okay. Another thing that we need to do is a pelvic examination or a pap smear, because of cervical cancer. In fact, recently we had a young girl of 30-something with cervical cancer, and it was very painful because this is a cancer that is slow growing. It's a cancer that takes time, 10, 15, 20 years to manifest. But while that is still not manifesting overtly, covertly, or within the cells, things may be happening that can be caught early if there is a pelvic examination done or a pap smear done or a visual inspection with acetic acid or something, some form of screening. It's so important that we do this so that we can protect ourselves from cancers and other problems like pelvic inflammatory diseases that could lead to infertility. Eye tests. Sometimes as a young girl, you're in secondary school, you sit at the back, you're not really seeing what is happening in class, or you're sitting in front and you're not seeing. You write, you write the wrong things. Maybe you're not even doing well in school and you think you're dull, but sometimes it may just be a problem with your sight. You're not seeing what's on the board very well, and it is important that you have your eyes checked. Some headaches that people have are linked to their eyes. They are squinting, they are trying to help the eye to adjust to see whether a far distance or a close distance, and then they come up with those headaches. Sometimes they say it's a migraine and all of that. You need to check your vision. Do you have a 20/20 vision? Do you have a 6/6 vision? You need to check that. You visit your eye provider for an examination. These are important. And we're not talking of illnesses yet. We're talking about how to stay healthy. Because when we talk about women's health, health is not disease, right? Health is not just the absence of disease, it's a state of physical, mental, social well-being in everything concerning the woman. That's what women's health is about. Okay? So, immunizations and vaccinations. Do you know that there are some vaccines that young ladies are supposed to get? For instance, the cervical cancer prevention vaccine, that's the HPV vaccine, is taken by girls 9 to 14 years of age. And that helps to prevent human papilloma viral infection, which is that infection that over time, if it persists, can lead to cervical cancer. All right. So, blood sugar tests, breast exam, we've talked about that. Blood pressure, we've talked about that. Weight, all of these are important. So you see that some of these cut across 20s, 30s, 40s, and I know that the people here are from adolescents and across the ages. So you find that most of the things you need to do earlier, some of them you need to do. And very importantly, like your mammogram, you have to do when you're 40 and above. For blood sugar, you need to get a fasting blood sugar. Blood pressure, you need to do that regularly. As you get older, these become more important. So there are some conditions that are common to women. I have listed some of them here. A number of them here. You would see that the last thing there says maternal health issues. Women's health is everything in that life cycle, but maternal health has to do with pregnancy, delivery, and all the things around there. So you find that there are some concerns around pregnancy, labor, delivery, family planning. All of those are classed under maternal health issues. But women's health is much more than maternal health issues. So depression, breast cancer, cervical cancer, autoimmune diseases, urinary tract infection, hypertension, heart diseases, diabetes, all of these can and do affect women, sometimes disproportionately. So to maintain wellness, Nisi, I don't know how much time I have. You didn't give me time. Anyways, to maintain wellness, we need to eat right. Today, we do a lot of fast food, a lot of highly processed foods. Little wonder we are coming up with so many so many health problems that we don't even know how to deal with. There's a lot of food that is genetically modified. And so, people are not getting the optimal nutrition that they ought to get. But I tell us that the simple things, vegetable, okra, those things that our foremothers used to just go to their backyard and pick up, and then we cook. They come in fresh, fresh from the farm to the fire. Those are really healthy. But we find that these days we're not eating so much of healthy food. So that brings the need for the vitamins and the mineral supplements that a lot of people take these days. But if you are able to look at your meals and have what we call adequate meals, the right set of carbohydrates, you get a lot of fruits and vegetables, you have proteins, taking adequate fluid, water, it's very, very good for our health. Exercising is also very good. Age appropriate, health appropriate exercises. And as young people, just dancing, dancing to music, moving yourself around is of great value. Meditating, calming your mind, deep relaxation, having adequate sleep, just loving up on yourself. Sometimes everything may not even be right. You may not even have all the nice food that you want to eat and all that, but having the right mindset, understanding that you are important, having the right values, those things will keep you healthy. And you see this wellness wheel, your emotional health, your spiritual health, physical, social, financial, all of these things are what makes up a healthy and a wellness wheel. So it's not just the absence of disease, just doing something that makes you feel like you're adding value can give you a boost of confidence and just make you look fresher and healthier, because as women, sometimes we are overwhelmed with so many things, chores, you work, you go home, you just drop your bag, you get into the kitchen, you're the one that makes the food. So you find that as women, we don't even take care of ourselves, but we are taking care of every single person that is related to us. So it's important that we take out time. Let's aim for a 30 minutes movement or work. It can be a work at least 4 days a week. For those of us who are older, some of us have cars. We move from the house to the office. We take an elevator. We go, we sit down on our seat. We face the computer and work for several hours. Go close the computer, get into the car, get back, and on and on and on. We need to do us. We need to love upon ourselves. We need to do activities that make us feel good. And exercise is one of the feel good things to do because it brings out those feel good hormones, endorphins, that just makes you feel good, confident, you smile. When you exercise, whether it's a dance, whatever it is that you're doing, and whether you're doing it alone or you have an accountability partner, just someone that helps to, motivate you to do the right thing, and to follow your goals, your exercise goals. So whether it is a friend, a spouse, and all that. These are really important because as we grow older and we get to perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, this becomes really important because one of the problems of women is what we call osteoporosis. When your estrogen levels drop, you find that the bones become weaker and all of that. For our young girls here, I believe that we'll find time to talk about menstrual health and menstrual hygiene. Okay. I think I'll find time to just slip that in. It was in one of the slides up there, but I didn't dwell on that. Aging, of course, is part of growing. So for women, our aging depends on how healthy we live. And we've talked about all the things that are good for us to do. But one other thing that I need to mention is what we expose ourselves to. These days, and in River State, if you're in River State, I hear that we have a lot of substance abuse, and disproportionately, a lot of girls are abusing substances. So whether it's alcohol, whether it's tobacco, whether it's shishi or shisha, all sorts of things that are called. Those things are not good for our bodies. Over time, they cause us to age faster, amongst other problems. Okay? They bring up mental stress. You find some people on the streets is because of one substance or the other that they are abusing over time and they become addicted to it. So to protect against all of those things, even cancers, you need to avoid tobacco, smoking, avoid alcohol. And I'm talking not just as a primary smoker, but even as a second-hand smoker. Because you may say, oh, I don't smoke, but you like guys that smoke. When does daddy smokes, sometimes you just like the smell of, or is it the smell or is the aroma, that kind of thing, and it's important that you know that these things ultimately affects our health. We talked about gender-based violence across the spectrum, and it's important that when we go through any of these, we should seek our medical attention because usually there are health consequences. And when I say health, it may not just be physical, it may be psychological, mental, and all of that. So it's important for us to speak out as young ladies and get the necessary support. I'm just going to run through what I have, but I'm waiting for the question and answer session because I believe that we have stuff in our hearts that we want to talk about. So family planning, reproductive life, fertility issues, from the get-go, from the time you start menstruating to when it stops, there's always an issue. Either it's a menstrual pain or it is fertility issues, or it's pregnancy, or it's, issues with pregnancy and delivery. And for each of these issues, there's something to do about them. And whatever we do is still around all that we have been talking about. Family planning is so important, not just when you don't want to have children. Family planning is about deciding on when you want to have children, how many children you want to have, and spacing them the way you want them. That's family planning. So family planning also includes fertility issues. right? Some of us are married. We've had regular unprotected sexual intercourse with our spouses for over a year. If you're not achieving pregnancy, don't wait. It's okay to say the Lord gives, the Lord. No, 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 no. Don't wait. Go to the hospital, ensure that you find out whether there is a problem or not before you decide on waiting on the Lord. Okay? um During pregnancy, for those that have achieved pregnancy, there are things you have to do. There are injections you have to take, vaccinations. There are preventive drugs like anti-malarials, malaria preventive therapies. There are folic acid, folates, all of those things that you need um, to take. And of course, we've talked about avoiding substance and alcohol use, sexually transmitted infection. This is so important for our young girls. A lot of us are already sexually exposed at very early ages. That exposure can lead us to either a sexually transmitted infection, a pregnancy. And if you get pregnant when you're not ready, it means you're going to drop out from school, isn't it? So it's important that we wait. So it's a double-edged sword. We have very young people and we have older people. So for the older people, a healthy sexual life is important, because, I mean, sex is a good thing when had with the right person at the right time, and of course in the sanctity of marriage. But for our young people who are not yet up to that age, whose body are not yet ready to carry a pregnancy, then the issues of sexually transmitted infection could arise, unwanted pregnancy, leading to unsafe abortion, and all of the issues around pregnancy, delivery, or delivering through CS, or even having a vesico-vaginal fistula because of the impact of that pregnancy on a young girl. So we've talked about all these, what to do to stay healthy. We've talked about some of the illnesses that women are faced with and how we can prevent some of those. But and we kept saying, oh, get a screening, do this and do that. So let's look at some of the barriers that women face in accessing health care. Sometimes it is financial constraints. So someone has any problem for that matter, or even a young lady is pregnant, but she cannot go to the hospital because she cannot pay the hospital bill. Or our cultural norms and gender roles, put us in positions where we are unable, to access healthcare when we need it. Sometimes we just don't know. Ignorance, poverty, ignorance, and disease is a tripod, is a cycle, and is a tripod that affects women so much more than it affects men. Because as our culture is, we're a patriarchal society, women are pregnant, they need permission from their husbands to register for antenatal, they need permission, they need funding to go for that registration, they need to take permission for family planning, they need to take permission to do almost everything. And then sometimes the health facilities are not readily available within our environment. And so you need to go somewhere really far to have that access. So some of these things can be a barrier. And that's why I am introducing health insurance as a lifeline for women. I mean, we've talked about possible things that could happen throughout the life cycle of women, how to stay healthy, but with a very serious need to consistently screen, get to know your numbers, and all of that. And we've talked about barriers such as financial constraints that limits women's access to health care. So health insurance will prevent the financial hardship, because then you would either pay ahead of time, pay something ridiculously lower than what you would actually have to pay if you were paying over the counter out of pocket. And then it ensures that you have continuous access to care at minimum of 1 year if you have paid your premium. And it's the packages are open for maternal health. I talked about pregnancy, delivery, up to having a cesarean session and all of that. Screening, care for chronic diseases, hypertension, diabetes, whatever it is. So women must prioritize enrollments into health insurance for themselves and their families that they love so much. And why do they need to do that? It's because healthcare costs are rising. Nobody prepares for an emergency. Insurance will protect us in emergencies, okay? What joy when you go to the hospital. You may even have the money, but you're not immediately able to access it. Maybe your card is not there or whatever, but that the hospital can just treat you without you having to pay first, you know? Health insurance also helps us to promote preventive care and early diagnosis. If you're covered by any form of health insurance, you would want to every month go, and I just want to go and check my BP, or this headache, let me just go and check, Joe, you know. But if you didn't have that coverage, you would want to trivialize whatever problem you're having. If it is a headache, you say, oh, now so my malaria they be. You go and buy anti-malaria, you treat 2-3 days, you're better, the headache comes back. But if you are covered, then you can take charge of your health. You visit your health facility. You ensure that you see the doctor, you get investigations done, and you get the care that you need. It gives you a confidence, you know, to go on. Even for our businesses, some of us are running businesses. If you are covered by any form of health insurance, your business seems to do better because you're not using your business money to take care of your healthcare needs or that of your family. So the Rivers State Contributory Health Protection Program is here, and it's something that is worth risking or taking a risk on, putting your money down for, because we have a mandate to ensure that everyone that lives and works in Rivers State accesses quality healthcare without breaking the bank and without going through financial hardship. We are at Waterlines House by Aba Road, and we have different packages for different categories of people. We have vulnerable group packages, and then we have packages for the informal sector, which is showing on our screen here. You can pay a premium of 15,000 per annum before this year ends, and then access healthcare. You can see the plethora of care that is available. So sometimes people say, I don't get ill. I'm a young person. I've not fallen ill for the last 5 years or whatever. But you see, these things it's like a thief. They don't come knocking. They just open the door and get in. So if you are covered, then it gives you the opportunity to have your annual checks at the barest minimum. You gift yourself on your birthday by going to run comprehensive medical checks because you're covered under health insurance. Or you get pregnant and then you can access care for you, your unborn baby, until you deliver safely, whether it is a vaginal delivery or a cesarean. It's covered. Whether it is dental, eye, ear, nose, throat, we have a comprehensive package at the most affordable prices. And this care you can get from either a public health facility or a private health facility at the primary level. And then you can be referred for secondary and tertiary care if that is what you require. We have phone numbers here where you can reach us by. We have our social media handles. So as many of us that are here, it would be nice to have you as our latest followers. If you could just, I don't know which of the handles that you are more familiar with. Some people is Twitter, for some people is Instagram, for some people is Facebook. Please kindly spend 1 minute and look us up so that you can get information on how to reach us and how to ensure that you as a woman, as a young girl, can access care when you need it. Currently, we are engaging schools, both at the secondary level, tertiary levels, to see how they can come on board. When today, team members went to church to talk to the Christian Association of Nigeria, to talk to the women wing, what we can, just to ensure that our women and our children are covered, and even the men, So this information is for us that are here to be able to extend to our sisters, brothers, everyone that we know. So in conclusion, it's important that you prioritize your health. Prioritizing our health as women is not luxury, it's practically survival. I'm calling on you and encouraging you to enroll into the Rivers State Health Insurance Scheme. Encourage your friends to do the same. We actually have very committed workers who ensure that our enrollees get the best. And we have 24/7 call center for grievance redress, and we are quite responsive. Just to reiterate that healthy women will build healthy societies. If you're in River State, you will see the work that women are doing. It is women that are the formidable group that are holding the state down. So you have to be healthy to do that. You have to be healthy to pray. You have to be healthy to work. You have to be healthy to do anything. So every woman deserves to live healthy, to live strong, and to live fulfilled. Investing in women's health, like I said, is not luxury. It is justice, it is hope, and it is smart development. Because as the saying goes, educate a woman, you educate a nation. So I believe that the few people here, or the many people here that have been educated, will carry the message on, and more and more people will get to hear. Today, I didn't prioritize talking about menopause and all of that. It was a very general conversation, but I'm open to taking questions, and I can answer specific questions on any health challenge or anything that you think I can respond to, from menstrual issues to hygiene to pregnancy, delivery to infertility to menopause. Whatever the individual concerns are, I'm sure we can look at those right away in the next few minutes that we have. Once again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. And Medical Women's Association of Nigeria and the River State Contributory Health Protection Program, we're grateful to be on this platform to engage the girls and to mentor us on our health. Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow. So
Thank you.
thank you so much, Dr. Betty. It was just beautiful from the start to the finish. I can't really say selecting it like being throwing stones away. There's actually nothing to throw away. One thing that you said that stood out so profoundly is that prioritizing our health is not a luxury. Sometimes we just think that people who need to go to the hospital are those who have money, but that's not the truth. We all need to live healthy. It's very, very important. I was actually telling myself just recently that I need to go to the hospital because it's as though, like today I was in the market, as though I just snap out. Like as though a momentary forgetfulness. I don't know, like I forget and I just come back. And I said, no, I need to check myself. I need to go to the hospital. I've been moving, no, because I've been traveling. I just came up from Abuja yesterday. But you talking now is like telling you, you're actually talking to Nisi. There was something also I wanted you to talk about, but maybe we'll still have to have a part two of this. What we need to talk about the rhesus factor. I think that you can tie to infertility and all that. So we can actually look at the rhesus factor if we're not able to answer all the questions tonight. So, but the floor is open. Does anyone have a question? Dr. Vetty is here. The best you can do for her, I told you when we bring these speakers, we bring these speakers, they come here, they're not being paid. So the best you can do is to ask them questions. For Dr. Vetsi, the best you can also do is to be a part of the scheme, the River State Contributory Protection Program. You can be there. At least she's one person who has fought for us to pay small money to have big health packages. So she's here. The floor is open. Any question, please? Your hands up. Thank God this session is recorded so we can play, we can put it anywhere. Questions, please. No question.
Thank you, Nisi. While they are trying to put their thoughts together, maybe I should speak to the rhesus factor and also to our genotype. Yeah. So I'll just spend 2 minutes to do that, and I'll still be expecting our questions. So let's start with the genotype because we have a number of young people, girls, with us who are yet to start thinking of marrying and who probably we can influence to take the right decisions. So when we talk about the genotype, genotype is like the very material that makes up a human being. Whether you are a male or female, um, everybody has different blood types. So we have what we call the blood groups. That is the ABO blood group. That's blood group. Genotype is the one that is double. So AA, AS, SC, AB, all that's genotype. And so every child that is born gets one alphabet, so to speak, from the father and then one from the mother. I'm breaking it down to the simplest way that I can explain it. So the father, the mother gives a gene that makes up what the child gets. Okay? Now, when you have AA as your genotype, perfect. Okay? When you have AS, it means that you have a sickled gene, right? Now, these cells are what carries oxygen, carries nutrients in the blood, carries it through the blood pipes to different destinations. So when the blood cell is usually like how do I put it? It's like it's not a circle, it's like a disc. If you know what a disc is, it's not like a round circle, it's a disc. But when it is sickled, it's like when you have a part of a moon or you have like an S shape, meaning that if you have those cells, they are not able to navigate the pipe. Sometimes they could get blocked. Sometimes, they are not carrying enough oxygen and all of that. So it is it's an abnormal gene. Let's put it that way. So if you are AA, you can marry an AS because the AA would always give an A. The AS would either give an A or an S. once you have AS, you're a carrier. You're not a sickle cell patient or warrior, whatever we call them now. But if an AS marries an SS, what it means is that that AS will either give an A or an S. For every pregnancy, that decision is made. It could be the S, it could be the A. So if the two parents, let's say the man and the woman, give the S, it means that that child becomes SS. And there are challenges with having a sickle, both cells sickled. Bone issues. I don't want to talk about the problems of sickle cell disease. That alone is for one whole day. So that is genotype. AS should not marry. No amount of love is enough for you as a young girl to marry a young man that is AS. Because we have found over time that love is not enough to keep the family together when this child starts to get sick every other day. The finances to take care of the child is a problem. The trauma of having your child ill every day, crying, bone pain, one problem or the other. So we advise that young ladies, one of the screening you should do is your genotype. Get to know your genotype. It's important. So that when you meet a young man, before you say, you just tell the person, hey, I'm AS. What's your genotype? From the get-go. So that you don't invest your emotions and everything, and then it becomes too difficult to pull out. Now, the next is the ABO incompatibility. For instance, I am rhesus negative. So you are either rhesus positive or negative. A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative. That's your blood group. You can be O positive or O negative. Usually, when a positive and a positive, O positive, A positive, whatever, come together to have a child, there's no problem because it's positive, positive. But if a woman is rhesus negative and her husband is rhesus positive and they have a child, that first pregnancy for the mother, it becomes a foreign body. It becomes a foreign body. And if she delivers that baby, the very first pregnancy, if she delivers, her body would have developed antibodies against that foreign body that has come in. So for the subsequent pregnancies, she will need what we call a ROGAM, right? So that when she gets pregnant, the new child coming in will not have this ABO incompatibility that leads to bleeding and a lot of complications for the child. So bottom line is just to say, know your blood group, know your genotype. I think that's the addition I want to make here, to say it's important that you know your blood group and you know your genotype, and your healthcare provider can advise going forward. So I'll stop here and take questions if we are ready for questions now. Over.
All right, so
Missy.
thank you so much, Doc. Does anybody have a question? See, we're here, so just say the way it is. Nobody is going to carry your story. We don't even have that strength and time. Whatever it is, you can ask and get clarity. Somehow, I believe that clarity has a way of, bringing some level of confidence, and it's like the beginning of your healing process. So the floor is open. You have a question. You have things bothering you. This is the place to ask. This is the place to ask. Doc, you said something about our lifestyle. Like I said, I just came back from Abuja. I was supposed to attend a small gathering. And the next thing, somebody just looked at me and said, Dr. Nisi, you want to go for that gathering where they take shisha? I said, really? Doc, that's how I stayed in my hotel room. I didn't go. They are women like me. Okay, that's what they do. They pipe it. And I'm like, how can women at this level in their 40s be piping? So this lifestyle thing you just talked about is also a major problem. It's a major barrier. Some of us see it as enjoyment. So I just want you to also look at certain things that we consider enjoyment that are harmful to our health. I know you had mentioned dieting. You had mentioned lots. So I don't know if anybody has a question here. Something that you are addictive to, you eat a lot and you just want to know your status with that kind of thing you're addicted to. So here the floor is open. Any question before we bring this to a close?
Good evening. Good evening,
Yeah, good.
Doc. Good evening, Anthony.
Good evening, Juliet.
Sorry, I came in late because I'm trying to work and join in on the class. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't get the information about the program, so that was my question. I don't know if you can do a small summary of what it's about.
What program?
The program you mentioned.
The River State Contributory Protective
Yes,
Program.
yes,
Okay, so
please.
it's more like Doc, let me allow you to handle this.
Okay, so it's a health insurance program. Health insurance is a prepayment system where it's like your car insurance and house insurance and life
So like
assurance,
a
you
HMO.
know. Sorry?
Like a HMO.
Okay, yes, if that's what you know, yes, that is what it is. So what
But they
happens
say
is you pay a premium and then you access a set of healthcare services from an accredited health facility. So yes, you can say it's like a HMO. Even though we do a lot more than what the HMOs do, but yeah, you can say that that is what it is. And because it's state supported, it enjoys a lot of subsidy and and what's that word now? Subsidy and I'll call it cross subsidization, So you have people that government pays for on the scheme. So yes, you're paying 15,000, but government uh puts in quite a lot for you to get what you get eventually. Unlike and we're not profit driven, unlike usual HMOs, so you get to access the right kind of care and for a lot less. That's what the program is about.
so it's more like River State giving you a grant, but they also want you to be committed to the grant by you also supporting from your end. Because most times when you have a totally free thing, people don't take it serious. They
Absolutely.
look down on
Absolutely.
it. But
We
when
run the free
their money
medical
is inside,
program in the States, and then people don't. But when you put your dime, 1 naira into any program, you would also go for those services because your money is there. You will ask us questions, you make us accountable. You understand? But if government is doing everything, when you get a wrong service, you just be like, it's as though it's free now, so you don't have a say. But we're looking beyond that, trying to be accountable to say, okay, let's all put in our money, because we need everybody in so that when that one person has a need, the person can access the kind of care that they need. In this year, I mean, we've had several surgeries. We've had people pay just 15,000 naira and access fibroid surgeries, cesarean sections, heniorrhaphies, different kinds of surgeries, hypertension treatment, diabetes treatment, and it's for a whole year. Okay, all you get to pay in addition is for your medication, and your medication per visit, you're only paying 15% of that. So if all your medications are 10,000, for instance, what you get to pay in that visit is 1,500 naira. And the testimonies abound. Actually, we have what we call the Universal Health Coverage Day coming up on Friday, the 12th of December, which is this Friday. And we're going to be listening to people, documentaries of people sharing their testimonies of how they benefited from the scheme. And then we're having people from the markets, the road transport workers, all of those people coming to do a panel. So it's something that everyone should key in, and we'll be excited to have you join us as we ensure that people in River State can access healthcare. You know, Nisi was talking about needing to go to the hospital, you know, and like I said, we work so hard. We work so hard. We are everything. You know, we stabilize the home, we are the office, we are bosses, you know, so we're all working really hard. But we don't take time to rest. Many of us have perfected sleeping 3 hours, 4 hours. You know, you wake up very early, prepare the children for school. We do all these things. Our bodies have started getting used to some of these things. So it seems like we're doing okay. But hey, someone says person body no be firewood. You know, that's why people can drop dead. People, oh, she was okay. Oh, this one, just like that. So it's not like when you do all these things, it's a guarantee. I mean, God is still there. He knows our end from our beginning. But let's do our bit. Talking of lifestyle, some people think this Sisha or Sashu, I don't know what it's called. Sisha also, it's relaxing. It's for that time, right? It's for that time. It doesn't take away your problems. Alcohol doesn't take away your problems. Those are temporary things. When it clears from your eye, that problem you had before you went to smoke or drink or whatever is still there. Do you understand? Maybe it has even done press up and it's back. So at the end of the day, we need to manage our stresses differently. Meditate, sleep, do something. Dance, sing, just don't do alcohol or do those things because they are addictive. And it's not like they are free. Yes, they make them look like it's almost free. Beer is even cheaper than water in some places because they want you to drink. But the thing is, you will drink and keep coming back and coming back. So you're spending little, but over time, people go and sell property just to buy these things. So it is something that I see a lot of young girls are going into, and it's not okay. It doesn't make you feel like you feel among. No, know yourself, be confident, study hard, get a skill. Once you do something that is fulfilling, you don't need someone to tell you you're a Jew girl or you're not a Jew girl. Who determines who is Jew? So, Nisi, I don't know. There's so much work to do.
Dr. Betty, I don't know. We're supposed to have a girls' conference in Port Harcourt. And at some point, we were walking. That was when the governor was on that break. Then when he came back, these other people came back. So everything just went awry. So at some point, we wanted to use the city council hall. And then they said, the mayor said, that was during the International Day of the Girl Child, that the mayor said he wanted his wife to handle her program or something. But I think there's need for us to have a Port Harcourt girls conference where through the office of the mayor of Port Harcourt, we can write to schools, because I learned that they have schools under a platform, the authorities of schools. So it's to find a way, talk to the schools and see how we can support, fund transport and get at least over 1,000, 2,000 girls seated. Talk to them about racist factor. Talk to them about the need for genotype verification, because it's very important. You're saying this thing is as though the love that is hitting them does not have reasoning. But if we begin to catch them young and begin to talk to them, these words will come as seeds. The Bible says, not of corruptible seeds, but of incorruptible seeds that abides and lives forever. So we just need to find a way to help. We just need to find a way to take ourselves back to what it used to be, where society had more of values and not all these superficial things that we're seeing today. Eva, I think I saw when you're muted. You want to ask a question so we can bring this meeting to a close. I'm so sorry this meeting has taken so long, but I want to believe we're learning. We're learning. So my sincere apology. Eva,
Yes,
let's have
ma.
you.
Hello.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, ma, Dr. Vetty. Actually, I just want to appreciate you for bringing this information about the insurance to us. Because recently I noticed my vision has been kind of blurry. Things I usually do not strain my eyes on, like threading the needle. I just noticed it recently, and then for a while I've been having headache. And I kept wondering, what's the cause of this headache? I'm not bothered about stuff, as in, I just, but you brought it to us now that um, visual impairment or whatever it is could cause headache. Headache could be a symptom. I didn't know about that. And then I was also thinking of maybe buying some of these supplements to help, because I know when one is aging, they'll say, oh, there are some supplements to be taken to help the body to rejuvenate the cells. So I was just racking my head about how to go about it, who to talk to, what supplements to get, and then for my vision, what to do about it. I actually didn't want to go to the hospital. I thought I could just fix it myself. But this insurance scheme you just brought to us now has made it easier, monetary wise, and the rest of it. I just want to appreciate you, ma'am. It's just like a Christmas gift to me now, because I'll take advantage of it. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Eva. And a lot of us do this. And sometimes it may be the funds, I think people just think hospitals are expensive. You need to go to the hospital and even find out sometimes. Just get to know what the problem is. Don't begin to take supplements without knowing what the problem is.